right, so I'd like to welcome you to weekly homework information behavior modification step 1. So what we're going to be doing in this video is we're going to be going over the steps that you need to complete step 1 of your behavior modification homework. All right, so first off, I want to mention a few things about the homework assignments for this course. First, each homework assignment is going to be based around behavior modification. So in the homework assignments, you are going to be taking the steps that you need in order to modify target behaviors. Now, the second part of the homework assignment is that you need to do this over time. Behavior modification does not occur in one sitting typically. Behavior modification requires repetition over time. So because of that, each of these homework assignments is going to require a distributed behavior, and that's going to be distributed over 5 days. So for each week's homework, you are expected to complete it on 5 out of the 7 days. Now, which 5 days you choose, they can be, they're completely up to you. They can be consecutive, they can be non-consecutive, but do make sure that you are planning into your week time enough in order to do these homework assignments. Now, on that note, each of these homework assignments might only take a few minutes per day, but the important thing is to put it into practice and put it into practice repeatedly so that we can modify that behavior. The next thing to know is that you are going to be modifying behavior of a very particular individual, and that is you. You are going to be modifying your own behavior. So we're going to put the principles into practice that we are learning this semester in this course, and we are going to use those to basically benefit your own life and your own behavior. So congratulations for signing up for this course. We are going to go through a 14-step procedure that will increase behaviors that you want to increase and decrease behaviors that you want to decrease. So the last thing that I want to mention is that homework assignments are going to be related to the principles and the theories that we learn and the techniques that we learn in this course. However, because of the nature of behavior modification, because sometimes we need to take the foundation, the theoretical foundations first before we actually go out and modify behavior, but I do want to get started on modifying behavior, some homework assignments are going to be directly related to that week's lesson. So you're going to read the chapter, you're going to watch the videos, and then you're going to get to the homework assignment and you're going to say to yourself, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I just learned that. Here we go. Other homework assignments, kind of like this one, are going to be unrelated to this week's lessons. Now they're going to be related to future lessons. And eventually you're going to come to that part of the course and you're going to say to yourself, oh, so that's why we did step 1 the way that we did. But just bear in mind that you might not see the relation immediately for the step that we're on compared to the week that we're on. But just know that it's all part of a built up process that you will be completing in order to modify your own behavior. And then the final thing that I want you to know is that this is a step process. This is a multi-step process. So make sure that you are completing those steps every single week, because if you don't complete step 1, you can't really do step 2. And if you don't do step 2, you can't really do step 3. There will be some jumping on points throughout the semester, but for the most part, it's going to build up on what we did the previous week. So on that note, let's begin with the actual information for what you are doing this week. So for step 1, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start measuring some behavior. So if you want to modify behavior, the first thing you do is you need to measure that behavior. So there's no point in trying to modify a behavior before we know what the behavior actually is. And as you're going to see in future videos, one of the things that you can, one of the dimensions of behavior is time. It's the duration of the behavior. So there are many dimensions of behaviors, and you'll learn more about that as we progress. However, one of the dimensions of behavior is time. How long does the behavior take? So think to some of the behaviors that you do and think about how long you spend doing those behaviors. And I am sure that there are some behaviors in your life that you do that you probably want to increase. So if you're learning a musical instrument, you probably wish, you know what, I wish I could practice that more. What you're saying is you wish that you could increase the duration of that behavior. And maybe there are behaviors that you want to decrease. Maybe there's a harmful behavior or a behavior that you see as a waste of time. And you think to yourself, you know what, I really wish I could decrease the time I spent on that behavior. Well, what you're looking to do is you're looking to decrease the duration. So that's what we're going to be doing in this first week's assignment is we are going to start tracking behavior, and we're going to start tracking it by measuring the duration of the behaviors that you engage in. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to do it using Clockify. So we are going to go over exactly how you use Clockify, but this is an online free duration tracker for behaviors. Okay, so the first thing you want to do after you go to Clockify, and it's just clockify.me, is you want to go up here, and if you don't have an account, sign up for one. If you do have an account, you're going to want to log in. So as soon as you log in, you're going to end up in the section that is the time tracker. So we got the timesheet, time tracker, calendar. There's a bunch of features here at Clockify. We're not going to be using all of them, but feel free to explore. And the first thing we're going to do in this time tracker is you are going to enable the timesheet. I already have done that, but do that if you haven't done it already. And then what you're going to start doing is we are going to start tracking behavior. So try to do this at the beginning of the day, and you're going to start tracking behavior. So for example, it'll ask you, what are you working on? And let's say that you are doing homework like you are right now. So you would type in homework, and you would click start. And what Clockify does is it starts to track how long you're spending on doing homework. So once you hit that start button, then you leave Clockify aside, you go and you do your behavior. When you're done your behavior, when you finish your homework, you can go back to Clockify, you hit stop. Whoops. Okay, so once you've set up Clockify, once you've logged in and you're ready to go, the first thing you want to do is you want to start a project. So start a project, and this is where you basically organize your life. So you can organize this in terms of just the basic big categories of your life. So you can organize work, you can organize school, you can organize personal time, you can organize it in terms of leisure. So whatever categories you want. So let's choose one that I know we all have. So we're going to do school, and we're going to click on create new project. And all of this, we can just hit create here. We don't need to fill that in. So we create new project, and then we say, well, what are we working on? So in this case, we are working on homework. Oops. And we're going to have it here as entered in as homework. And you can see that it's already started our recording of this behavior. So it's already started our recording of our homework behavior. So at this point, what you want to do is you want to put Clockify aside and you want to go do your homework. And then however long it takes you, once you complete your homework, you come back to Clockify, it'll still be running, and you click on stop, and it will record for you that you did homework and you did it today. And this is going to be important for that multi-day requirement, but you did homework, you did it today, and you did it for 1 minute and 39 seconds from 12:02 p.m. to 12:04 p.m. And then you might say to yourself, well, that's enough homework for today, 1 minute, 39 seconds. That's good enough. I'm going to take some leisure time. So you start another project and you're like, all right, leisure. And we create that new project. And then what are you working on? And you might say to yourself, I am going to watch something on Netflix. And we're going to click start. And then it records how long you are spending on Netflix. And once again, once you are done your leisure time, you click stop. And you can see again that it has recorded that behavior. Now, the nice thing about this is that once you have your categories set up, then you can simply choose your project and let them know what you're working on. So you might say, well, I'm not doing homework now. I am attending class. And we click on start. And you can see that now you are recording how long you are attending class. And then once again, once you're done attending class, you can click on stop and it'll record how long you've attended class. So that is the basics of how to enter in behavior for Clockify. So what we want to do, I want to make sure that we are recording enough behaviors, and I want to make sure that we're recording them at enough detail. So the first requirement for this assignment, the first requirement is that you have to record behavior 5 days out of 7 days. The second requirement is that you have to record at least 10 different behaviors. So you have to record at least 10 different behaviors. And if you think that you don't do 10 behaviors, you do. And I'll let you know how you can get to those 10 behaviors. So last time that I tried this, it was the first time that we tried Clockify. One of my students handed in their first week of recording behavior, and they literally had work, school, leisure, and that was it. They had work, school, and leisure. They had 3 behaviors. And we had to go back and modify that because that's just not detailed enough. That's just not in there enough. And when I asked her, you must have more behaviors than this, she was adamant. No, I go to work, I go to school, and I just do one kind of leisure activity. So we need to have 10. So for example, you could have chosen just schoolwork. You could have entered homework as schoolwork. You could have entered attending class as schoolwork. All of that could have been entered as schoolwork. So if you're finding that you don't have 10 behaviors that you can record, split the behaviors. Go deeper into that category and start teasing out target behaviors. So attending class versus doing homework, watching educational videos versus attending class. Like, you can come up with those 10 categories. So make sure that you come up with 10 categories. And importantly, they can be from anywhere. So they can be leisure time activities. They can be personal activities. They can be hobbies. They can be school. They can be work. They can be sleep. In fact, I highly recommend have sleep as one of your categories, because it's very important to make sure that you're getting enough sleep. And sometimes we vastly underestimate the amount of sleep that we get. So you want to choose 10 behaviors. You want to record at least 10 behaviors. And if you find that you don't have enough behaviors to record, just go deeper on one of those categories and split it up into 2 behaviors that you can then record. So we're going to choose 10 behaviors. The next thing is that the type of behaviors that we're going to choose are going to have a very specific criteria, and that is for 6 out of the 10. For 6 out of the 10 behaviors, I want you to choose a behavior that you can either increase the time in or you can decrease the time in. So these are things that you have control over, that you could increase the time in or decrease the time in. Now, it might not be a good idea to decrease the time or increase the time in these behaviors, but importantly, it's under your control. So what I mean by that, one behavior that does not fit that category would be work. So if you have a job, you are not it's not under your power whether you increase the time you spend at your job or decrease the time you spend at your job. You can't go to your boss, you can't go to your boss and say, hey, you know what, this week, instead of working 8 hours a day, I think I'm going to work 6. And I'll just do that for this week. Or instead of working 8 hours a day, hey, I'm gonna be here for 10 hours a day. You don't have that power in a job. So you can choose work as one of the behaviors that you track, but make sure that 6 out of the 10 behaviors are things that you have control over to either increase or decrease. So for example, the amount of time that you spend on homework. You could spend more time on homework or you could spend less time on homework. So that's a good one to choose. The amount of time you spend watching Netflix. You could watch more Netflix. You could watch less Netflix. Now, importantly, you might think to yourself, well, my schedule is so packed, I can't watch more. That's fine, but you could increase it or decrease it if you made room. So try to think along those lines. So things, and it can be anything throughout your entire day. So it can be things like personal hygiene, the amount of time you spend on personal hygiene in the morning and personal hygiene at night. You can increase that or decrease that. The amount of time that you spend practicing an instrument, the amount of time that you spend trying to learn a second language, the amount of time that you spend browsing social media, the amount of time that you spend. It can be anything that you spend time on. Just make sure that 6 out of those 10 are behaviors that you can either increase or that you can decrease. And while we're on that subject, we are going to be modifying some of these behaviors. So if you just want to kind of set yourself up for maximum future success, try to think of behaviors in your life that you would want to increase the duration of, and behaviors in your life that you would want to decrease the duration of. So for example, if you're learning a new instrument and you think to yourself, you know what, I'm practicing 20 minutes a day. I really wish I could get that up to 30, maybe 45 minutes a day. start tracking that behavior. Start tracking how long you're practicing that instrument. If you say to yourself, when I get up in the morning, I spend way too much time on my morning hygiene routine. I just spend way too much time in the shower. I spend way too much time, brushing my teeth, getting my hair ready. There's 3 behaviors right there. I spend way too much time. I would love to decrease that time, maybe get out a little bit more efficiently. Start tracking your morning hygiene routine. So definitely, think about the behaviors that you want to increase, the behaviors that you want to decrease, and let's start tracking those behaviors as well. All right. Next thing I want you to know, you are going to be reporting on the behaviors that you are doing. And I do not want anybody at all to feel uncomfortable with reporting behaviors to me. So this isn't this isn't for me to get a look into your private life. This is not a way for me to kind of like spy on what you're doing during the week. This is for the purposes of learning how to track behavior. So first off, no judgment whatsoever. You spend 4 hours a day on Netflix. I get it. I've binged many a season on Netflix myself. You skip a class during the week. I get it. I have skipped class when I was in school as well. So first off, no judgment. However, if you are still feeling a little reserved, or if you're still feeling a little bit anxious about this, just know that you can call these behavior 1, behavior 2, behavior 3, behavior 4. So if you are learning a language and you don't want anybody to know that you're learning a language for whatever reason, call that behavior number 1. And I will have no idea what it is that you're doing. I will have no idea what it is that you're spending your time doing. All I will know is that you tracked behavior number 1 during that week, and you tracked 5 days worth of your behaviors. Now, once I mentioned that, another thing occurred to me. You don't have to do behaviors every single day. So I get it that you don't do a behavior every single day. However, you do behaviors every single day. So we do need 5 out of 7 days tracked, but don't think that your behavior has to be tracked every single day. If you do it, track it, because we want an accurate idea of how long you're spending doing these behaviors. But if you didn't, for example, practice your guitar on Wednesday, don't feel that, oh no, I'm not going to, do successful in this homework assignment because I didn't do it 5 days out of the week. You don't have to do your behaviors 5 days out of the week. You have to do the tracking 5 days out of the 7. So tracking 5 days out of 7 behaviors, I need to see 10 behaviors that are tracked. 6 of those need to be behaviors that you can either increase the duration of or decrease the duration of. And then once you have all of that tracked, what we're going to do is we're going to go here to reports, and we are going to choose detailed reports. And we are going to go over here to export, and we are going to choose to export as Excel. And then that is going to export a Clockify Excel sheet. And then that is what you upload to your homework assignment in order to complete this homework assignment. So once again, we are going to go to reports. We're going to choose detailed. And then once you choose detailed, we're going to go down here to export, and we are going to export as Excel, and it will export the basically this week view. So that's exactly what we want. It'll export your information, and then that Excel sheet is what you upload into Canvas to complete your homework assignment. All right, so that is it for the weekly homework information behavior modification step 1. So again, in this assignment, we are going to start our behavior modification procedure by measuring behavior so that we know one dimension of the behavior that we are doing, which is duration. So once again, the criteria, we need 5 days out of 7 days tracked. We need 10 behaviors tracked, and we need 6 of those behaviors to be things that you can either increase the duration of or decrease the duration of. And once you're done, export the Excel file, upload that to Canvas, and you are on your way. And for any behavior that you do not want to report, simply call it behavior number 1, behavior number 2, no judgment whatsoever. And let's start getting that information down so that when we modify behavior, we can basically see, are we being successful or are we being unsuccessful in modifying the behavior? And in this case, we're going to be tracking that dimension of duration. All right, so that is it for weekly homework information, behavior modification step 1. Can't wait to get started on this behavior modification procedure. So let's get off to a good start. Let's track those behaviors, and who knows where we're going to go? Who knows how good we can get? Who knows how much we can improve the behaviors in your life by the end of this semester? So until next time, stay frosty and let's go modify some behavior. Oh, wait. There we go. All right, so we are recording. We are doing well. We are on our way. All right, so you got that?